Thanks to everyone who have subscribed. If you have not, please do. And thanks for coming out here. I really appreciate you. If the Almajiri system is abolished, the election games in the north will change. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my people, wherever you are. We're here today to keep you up to date with all that is going on in Nigeria and around the world. The Almajiri system is no longer a news to many of us, as almost every one of us must have heard about the exodus of the Almajiris from the north to the south. And it has been an issue on the news, and it has been very upcoming and has not stopped because of the whole situation around the Almajiri system and the government lies of palliative and feeding school children at home. Yet the Almajiris are migrating because they need to survive during this time of COVID-19. Well, politicians are playing a game with the Almajiri system. Why? They benefit from it. Now they are discussing and looking at the abolishment of the Almajiri system of education. However, some politicians who have gained seriously in no small way from the Almajiri system don't want it to end. Why? Let's get to the news and get all the details. If the Almajiri system is abolished, the election games in the north will change. The Almajiri system have lasted for centuries now. Almajiri is a system of Islamic education practiced in northern Nigeria. The word Almajiri is derived from the Arabic word Majarun, meaning a person who leaves his home in search of Islamic knowledge. The system is now outdated and abolished. Anyone can get the Islamic teaching anywhere he or she is located. Parents of these Almajiri boys send them out not only for the purpose of learning Islamic study, but due to poverty. They are not able to cater for their well-being. So they are sent out in the jest of learning. You hardly see a Muslim in the northern part of Nigeria without Islamic knowledge. 80% of the Muslims in the north did not acquire Islamic knowledge through the Almajiri system. Some top northern citizens, especially the dethroned Emir of Sanusi, Libido, have severally called for the abolishment of the Almajiri system, that it is no longer useful for the society. And he advocated for parents to only give birth to children they can cater for. His advocacy for men to marry only one when they can care for, marry only one wife if only they can care for that number of children. Instead of marrying a lot and give birth to children, a lot of criticism arose, especially from the northern leaders. Adam Garuba, a former presidential candidate, is among the northerners that are in support that the Almajiri system should continue instead of abolishing it. It should undergo modification. He also said that the system have produced rich men in the north. The Kaduna State Governor, El-Rufai, on Channels News, said that the Almajiri system have outlived its usefulness, and as he was speaking, he said that the system is now abolished and the state government have reviewed a law that will completely abolish the system. He also said that the Governor Forum promo to the pandemic have in plans to send all Almajiri back to their respective home and rehabilitate the system. The discussion just made a plain excuse for the first question that is being arised by all Nigerians, and it's necessary to migrate and to come up with speed discussion regarding this matter. Kaduna State Governor is right. The Almajiri system is now outdated and it's not useful for the society again. The disadvantage of the system is much greater than the advantage. The game politicians are playing during election using the Almajiri boys would change if this actually comes to an end. Below are some of the advantages and disadvantages of the Almajiri system of education. The picture you can see, some of the pictures you are seeing now flying by, they are taken in the last 2019 general election in one of the states in the north of Nigeria, where Almajiri children were assembled to thumbprint and vote in the general election. Politicians use their Almajiri children because they are easy to dispose, and they would collect any dime given to them, and it's easy to assemble them in a large number. This practice of using the Almajiri system in election did not start in 2019. They were also used in 2015 and other previous elections. With the prohibition of the Almajiri system in the north, who will be the politicians easily manipulation to carry out their planned election malpractices? They can hire anyone, but it will be difficult to assemble a large number without paying a huge sum of money. Some politicians, if they subject the voting is not if they subject everything to voting, they do not go in their way. They will employ their Almajiris, then now turned thugs to disrupt the election process so that particular polling unit is cancelled. Most of the elections violence that happen in the north are caused by them. These politicians will not want the violence to be linked to them, so they will hire the thugs to achieve their seniors' plans. And since they need the money and some have no conscience due to how they grew up, no love, no affiliation with human feeling, they dig into the act of violence. With the recent news about the appointment of a Almajiri system in the Kaduna and the plan of abolishing the system in the entire north, this will change the tactics of politicians employing during the election of using a Almajiri system. Some of the Almajiri boys later grew to become thugs. Thugs are ungraded individuals who are hired to cause planned violence in society. Most of the violence incidents that happens in the north are caused by Almajiris, now turned thugs. The Almajiris are exposed to all kinds of diseases and harsh weather with less care because they fall ill. Their only recourse when they are sick to hope and pray for the grace of God to sustain and keep them alive. They can be infected easily and can also transmit infection easily to the society. The COVID-19 is an example of how they can get infected easily and how they can transmit an infectious disease easily. The government gave order for everyone to remain at home so as to minimize the spread of the virus, but they forgot about the Almajiri. The Almajiris can't stay at home because most of them don't have a home to sleep. They have never been brought to sit in one place. Their parents are far away from them, and they must also go out to beg for food, and this neglect is what is causing the rise in the case of COVID-19 in the northern Nigeria, apart from southwest due to Lagos alone. Northern states are more affected with the pandemic than any other zone. As at 4th of May 2020, out of the active 72 cases in Kaduna, 65 of them are Almajiris that were returned from Kano State. From Kaduna, Governor Twitter handle said the number of the more than 70% of the total infected numbers in Kaduna State presently are the Almajiris. Almajiris are the main transmitter of the disease in the north. They did not bring this to the region, but due to their way of survival, they are more exposed and easily to get the disease. These Almajiris are not fortunate to have home training, and they become exposed at a very young age to the society. Some are fortunate to grow to become great men. Some are not that fortunate. They end up becoming maniacs to the society and being manipulated. The Malams that are sent to get Islamic knowledge from do not keep an eye on them 24/7. What the Malams are more concerned about is the impact of the Islamic knowledge and nothing more, not their welfare, not whether they are fair, they have a disease and needs to be treated or cared for and loved. On the Almajiri, how they move about searching for food and money is not their concern. They are not particular about how these children survive. My people, what do you have to say about this? Because I'm short of words. You see some of those parents leave out their children as young as 5 to go into this Almajiri system to somebody who is not related to them, who does not even care about them. All he cares about is that they get Islamic knowledge. When you go there alive, you day well to be able to even actualize Islamic knowledge when you get. Anyway, the North are calling for the abolishment of this, but some say no, it should not be abolished. Why? They have gained from the system. Don't forget to like us, share, subscribe, click on the notification button so you can get all our latest news. God bless, have a good day, and bye for now.